Welcome to the Draft Indy podcast. I'm Grant Sinning. Tonight we have a full stable, including Alex Jacobson, Brian Krosky, Garrett Stallings, James Vermeil, and Kyle Rodriguez, the newest member of the Draft Indy podcast regular squad. So, everybody, how you doing tonight?
Good.
I'm here.
Okay. Cool. Well, I'm glad to hear everyone's doing great and spectacular, and things are, swell in your neck of the woods. So let's go with let's start out with some Colts news. So we signed Antonio Cromartie. That was interesting, kind of out of nowhere. There's a bad news on top of bad news, really, because the reason you sign Antonio Cromartie is because Vontae Davis has a mystery ankle injury, which no one seems to understand what it is. It's some sort of sprain, but I've also seen it as a tear, and I don't know. So Vontae's out for at least, probably out for the first month. So we signed Antonio Cromartie because the rest of the depth is absolutely atrocious. It's bad. Darius White from California was like the number 2 guy out, this week versus the Ravens, and that didn't turn out too well at all. So let's discuss here. Antonio Cromartie last year got burned by Dante Moncrief quite a bit, and I'm gonna shoot it to Brian real quick. So Brian, I know you had vined those plays for your Moncrief article. Is there anything redeeming in Antonio's game that you saw from that game when you watched it?
I hope you aren't looking for anything, because nothing that I can really tell you. In fact, I mean, that was probably like the pinnacle of Moncrief's just explosion last year within like the first half of the season when him and Luck were really like gelling together. In fact, there were plays where like Moncrief would run like 10 yards upfield and he would cut across and like hit like the middle of the field, and Cromartie was so slow that Moncrief actually ran around him, like what you're not supposed to do on crossing routes. You're just supposed to undercut it, but Moncrief knew he could get around him. So that was actually even worse. And then, so yeah, no, there really wasn't much from Cromartie. But the thing with Cromartie is he's always an on-year, off-year kind of guy. There's a year, I want to say, it was like 2012, 2013 with the Jets when Revis was still, elite, and they had the best secondary. And then the year after, he was bad, and then it was just Revis. And then he went to the Cardinals, and then everyone's telling me that he played really well when he wasn't looked as the guy when he had Patrick Peterson across from him. So it seems like he always has an on-year, off-year kind of thing. So I don't know if he's trying to play across Vontae Davis and Vontae plays very well this year, you could expect him to kind of play well, but right now he's not playing. He's playing in Vontae's spot, not with Dante. Or Vontae, sorry.
Yeah, and that's important. Like that's a kind of a good question, something that we should probably talk about. Is Cromartie staying a starter after Vontae comes back and Patrick Robinson's healthy, everyone's healthy, and Cromartie's still on the roster? Is he starting?
Hope so.
You kind of maybe hope so.
Cromartie's not very good, and I'm not expecting much of him, but I would still take him over Darius Butler for sure, and John Smith hasn't shown anything.
Brown, yep.
And Patrick Robinson, he did not look good on the outside. There was that play against the Bills from Week 1 against Marquise Goodwin, where he got burned. A bunch of other snaps where he was getting beat off and not showing like anything that shows that he can be a good outside corner. And the best position for him was always going to be inside. We thought he could get away with playing outside, but if you have a guy there who can at least be a better option than like a Darius Butler, I think it's smart to move him inside.
So as the guy running the Patrick Robinson train, I probably should apologize after one preseason game. It's not looking good right now. Like, I still think he's good, but the first glimpse was not good, and I'm sorry, guys.
Okay. So I mean, again, preseason, and he was going against a really, really fat, like an international track star.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, yeah, his jam should be a little bit better, but it wasn't a completion. He looked bad, but I mean, at the same time, like, first preseason game, shouldn't worry. But him moving inside is great, honestly, because That's where he is, and that lets Darius Butler stay off to the sideline or move into whatever starting safety role they seem to want him to play. So I mean, we've got it's just an interesting thing, but I mean, it was almost a must-need signing because everyone after Vontae and Patrick Robinson is bad.
Bad or
untested. Hurt, untested, bad. I mean,
or all three.
Yeah, or all three. Yeah, and most of them it's all three. Like Dujon Smith hurt. Patrick Robinson's actually hurt. He hasn't practiced in a little while. So, I mean, I don't know. It's
this really isn't a hot take now that guys are injured, but like Colts cornerback, the state of the cornerback is like by far worse than edge at this point. And probably, like maybe if everyone's healthy, it could maybe be a toss-up because I don't know, we've seen some okay things from edge, but right now you can probably argue that cornerback is worse than inside linebacker too, maybe.
I mean, even if everyone's healthy, you've got Vontae, Patrick Robinson. This is before Cromartie, and then Darius Butler, who everyone, like as you guys who listen to us know, we've been down on for quite a bit. Mm-hmm. And then Dujon Smith, who was constantly hurt last year, been hurt already this year. He's been on a snap count. He only played 10 snaps on purpose during the Ravens game. And then after that is just a stable of undrafted guys or 2 year, like 1 year rookie, 2 year, like no one of any. Jaleel Brown, Tevin Mitchell, guys like that. The guy with 3 names, Taylor Glover Wright or whatever his name is. I think that's close enough. But I mean, it's bad. I mean, it was something that needed to happen. Even if he's as bad as Toller has been, it's probably still going to be better.
Toller would be an upgrade over what we have right now, and that's the sad state of things.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, but Cromartie is better than Toller. But he's also 31, coming off of an injury. So we'll have to see.
He's also Antonio Cromartie.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he's playing for his kids. He's got to pay that child support.
Yeah. So that's the best part of this. That's the best part of it. He gets a 1 year, $3 million contract. He can make an extra $500K in incentives. Don't know what they are yet. But the first thing you see coming out, like literally just a few minutes ago, TMZ reports Antonio Cromartie well-spent cash pays off back child support that he hasn't paid since January on one of his 14 kids. No, one of 13. He was ordered to pay her $4,000 per month starting in January 2016, but has not done so yet. He was due in court last week and explained why he couldn't come. He was a no-show, and then he gets the contract, and then he signed. He signed the contract on Monday, made the payment on Tuesday. So, man, it's like a long NFL joke, right? Cromartie and all of his kids, but now we get them. So, what's going to be great is like how in this in the corner of like the stadium you'll see like Moncrief's minions or whatever. You're going to see Cromartie's kids. Section 618, Cromartie's kids. It's going to be so good. I'm super excited.
And it's going to be exclusively packed of just his kids.
Right? Yeah. They'll fill the entire section will be filled. So that's kind of just kind of starting out. That's kind of where we're at. The state of cornerback is not good. And if everyone's still hurt, so the first 4 games. So say Vontae misses the first 4 games. How realistically, how bad is it going to be? Lions in week 1. So Golden
Stafford,
Tate. You recovered a pair of pretty good receivers.
Marvin Jones is going to kill it.
I disagree with Marvin Jones, but I will say
I have faith in.
I'm not saying he's going to kill
Butler to cover him for sure.
Right.
No.
And then you face Demaryius Thomas and Emmanuel Sanders. But
with Trevor Siemian throwing.
Yeah.
Trevor Siemian or Mark Sanchez, whoever that is, it's probably going to be Paxton Lynch.
For some reason, Colts always play the Broncos so well on defense. And maybe it was just because Peyton was aging and they were able to manipulate that because he was.
They figured out the perfect defense to play against Peyton, which is
it was a good matchup.
Deep and he can't do that. And Simeon actually has a decent arm, so that might not be the best strategy against
I
him.
think that's kind of funny that the Colts figured out like a perfect defense to play against Peyton after he played for them, and then they signed Cromartie, who absolutely ate against the Colts. I just think that's kind of funny.
Mm-hmm.
So week 3 is the Chargers. So you got Keenan Allen and
Travis Benjamin.
Travis Benjamin.
Benjamin's gonna roast us.
He's gonna do what Marquise Goodwin did, but much more frequent.
Yeah. So and Phillip Rivers is highly underrated. So and he's still good. Antonio Gates is still there. So
and their offensive line, I guess, like their offense is moving to like a really like more like fast-paced, quick, kind of like the Patriots, because like they know their tackles are garbage, and like everyone on their offensive line is like turnstiles when they're healthy.
Everyone on their offensive line is a tackle. They're all
exactly.
tackles.
Yeah, I know, but they're not good. And so like I guess the Chargers like move into like a quick like 3-step drop and just like get rid of it. So I know that doesn't work well in the favor of the Colts, especially pass rush.
That's totally perfect for DeQuell Jackson.
Well, I'm already looking forward to starting safety Darius Butler guarding Antonio Gates. That's gonna go well.
Man,
I'm
really
really, how are we gonna cover Keenan Allen and Travis Benjamin with Antonio Gates in the middle?
And then Danny Woodhead.
And Danny Woodhead out of the backfield. Like there's literally no way that we are gonna be able to cover the Chargers.
TJ Green's covering it all.
TJ Green's got it. Don't worry about it. And then week 4, we go to Wembley and play that interesting offense that the Jaguars have put together. So
I don't even know how they did against Allen Robinson last year. I mean, obviously, one game they scored like 52 points, but
I was at that first Jaguars game, and Vontae did a decent job, but Alan Hurds did really well, if I remember correctly. But
yeah, that was against Toller.
Yeah, but Bortles was garbage in that game.
He was so bad.
Yeah, so we'll just have to see which Bortles we get. It's London. It's always just crazy weird in London. Things just never go how the NFL wants them to go in London. And then, of course, 2018 season is going to open up in China, so that's just just completely smart things that they're doing.
To be honest, for the first couple games, I'm really not. I mean, it's bad, but like I don't know exactly. The Broncos, I'm really not that worried about, especially if their quarterback situation is kind of up in the air. And like the Chargers, like I said, their offensive line is very, very bad. Like even just a couple of extra pressures against Phillip Rivers will help manipulate that. So I mean, yeah, it's bad, but like it's not 4 games against like the top. It's not Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers and Roethlisberger. So, like, I don't know. I think we almost kind of lucked out that it's happening early rather than later. Of course, it'll probably happen mid-season anyways.
Yeah, so, I mean, it'll be interesting. We'll just have to kind of see how those other teams are looking and, kind of move from there. So let's go to the good news of the injuries.
Can I say one thing on Cromartie real quick?
Yeah, please.
Really, you have bad Twitter accounts that are complaining about signing Cromartie to a $3 million contract because he's a vet, and Colts sign vets to expensive contracts and stuff. But it's like, this was literally the best the Colts were going to do at this point. Mm-hmm. And they're not paying him $3 million. They're paying him like $200K a game. And it's just a pay-as-you-go. If they cut him whenever, they can cut him whenever. There's like no guaranteed money on the contract. So it's like there's nothing to this at all.
Yeah,
right.
I don't like Cromartie. I don't like Cromartie at all. Like, this is lifelong vendetta with me. But, I mean, what are the other options? Literally, the only other thing they could have done was not sign somebody or sign just some random other person that's cut out of a 90-person roster. And then the talk would be the Colts are playing garbage people that can't even make a regular NFL roster. It's like, there's nothing you can do there. This was the only option. They signed somebody. He's not good, but he's not the worst in the league, which is the only other option.
He's at least been good at one point.
He has been good. Yeah.
Very good.
That's debatable.
All right, I've had enough out of you. Okay, so let's transition just a little bit here to the good injury news. Henry Anderson activated off the PUP. That's probably the best news I've heard. Plus, also Kendall Langford saying he should be back for Week 1. That's just gravy news, guys. That's
We need a party drop or something like that.
like that's probably
Thunderous
the best
applause.
news, right? Yeah, I'll add it in post. So that's good news. I mean, even though like watching these last two games, the defensive line is stacked. I mean, I know that the other guys are playing, third stringers or whatever, but still, like every phase of the defensive line, every string has been good. You saw good things that have, I think was Sterling Bailey and the other guy.
Barely
I don't know.
67.
Yeah, I don't know the other guy who wears number 60 for the defensive line, but it's just like all phases they've been great. So I mean, adding these other guys in is going to be such a boon, and I'm Henry's our boy, and so hopefully again he's going to have to be worked in. It's going to be probably he might not play week 1 or he might play like 5-10 snaps week 1. We don't really know. So, but it's good news. So let's move.
I'm trying to think. Probably him and Vontae will probably be back like as full-time starters, maybe around the same time. Well, he'll probably be a little bit earlier because they'll have to work Vontae back in off his injury. But you think like with Henry, they're going to take their time with him and work him back to like a full-time starter probably after 3 or 4 weeks.
Right.
I'm being really careful with their timetable on Vontae. They said he might be back around October, and we've heard a lot of long lead times from them that got pushed out even further. So I'm being really careful with this Vontae back like week 5. Like I'm hoping for mid-season right now.
I have way more optimism for Anderson than Vontae in terms of coming back soon.
Right.
Plus he's better.
Anderson's.
Are we going to talk about Clayton's injury or no? 'Cause that's kind of a big...
He's still riding a bike?
Yeah, well, right now Pagano said like they're preparing for him not to be ready by week 1.
Yeah.
TJ Green.
TJ Green. I mean, that's just kind of. I mean, he hasn't played bad. I mean, there was one time in preseason week 1 where he got he was looking in the backfield and the guy made a cut. Other than that, I mean, he had that really good play against the run, and then he didn't really play much after that play. But
honestly, I really don't expect anything from the Colts this year. So, so I'm just excited about getting to see guys like TJ Green.
I mean,
I think we are officially one Mike Adams ankle injury away from either Darius Butler or Winston Guy at safety, and that just only can mean good things.
You mean interception having Winston Guy? Come on.
Of all players to make that play, it had to be Winston Guy.
That's one of my 5 plays for the piece coming out this week. So
future starting safety mix.
That's only once Darius Butler gets hurt.
Yeah. Man, it's bleak. It is a bleak secondary.
Embrace rebuilding.
It's a bleak back 7. I don't know. Yeah, it's interesting. All right, Ravens game. What's up, little guy? Just saying hey to him.
Also, where's Garrett?
I don't know. He left a little while ago. It's still there. I don't know. All right, so let's do kind of like what we did last week. One positive takeaway, one negative takeaway, and then a rookie takeaway. We'll start with a positive takeaway from Alex.
I'll go defensive line. T.Y. McGill, I think we need to start considering the fact that he might not just be a really nice rotational player and actually might be like a really good player, straight up, because he was so much better than the guys who were trying to stop him. It wasn't fair, and I know these are backup defensive linemen for the most case, or offensive linemen for the most case, but his quickness is like in a vacuum really good, and that quickness can beat starting offensive linemen as easily as it's beating these backup guys. And I don't know if he's probably not going to be starting this year based on the guys around him, but he's going to have an incredibly important role in this defense because they're using him all over, be it at nose tackle or at 3-tech, and he's definitely a keeper and might turn into a really good player down the line.
No, I'm gonna have to agree with you, man. It's like every other play, he's in the backfield. I mean, and he had some snaps with the ones.
Yeah.
I think did he start over Perry? I can't remember.
I think Perry started, but he was getting in like the second series.
No, yeah, even the first game against the Bills, like the whole first quarter, he still had a very consistent amount of snaps with everyone else.
Yeah, so it's definitely worth watching because once I'm trying to think, the Eagles. Yeah, no, the Eagles do not have a good offensive line. And then we play the Bengals that awful week. But I'm trying to think. After that, we don't really go against a good offensive line for quite a while.
Lions are bad. Broncos are bad. Chargers are bad. Jacksonville's really not that good.
Yeah, I mean,
every offensive line in the league is bad.
That's true.
That's
every
true.
offensive line besides like the Bengals and the Cowboys is bad.
Yeah, that's about it. And the Colts, man, what are you talking about? Brian Kelly made us a top 3 offensive line. I mean, didn't you know that?
So did Jack Mewhort moving to left guard.
yeah. Now that Jack Mewhort can finally play left guard, we'll have a top 3 offensive line. So
I just think the continuity is going to be big. He's not going to have to bounce around anymore and play all those games at other positions.
Yeah, man, it's true. It's totally true. Brian, one takeaway. Good takeaway.
I'm gonna go with the play calling, especially on the offensive side. Like I really like what Chud's doing so far, and I've been trying to just kind of focusing on the plays. Obviously, that's what I'm going to be writing about. Mostly is just like what plays are making the biggest impact, and he's doing a lot of crossing routes. And I've noticed we expected a lot of 11 personnel. It's been a lot of heavy jumbo sets. Like Doyle and Chase Kaufman and Darian Griswold have been getting like a ton of reps. So I think
Darian Griswold's not on the team anymore.
Oh, who am I?
The white guy who everyone thinks going to be your number 80.
80 is Chase Kaufman. Who's 86 then?
Oh, Eric Swope.
Oh, Eric Swope. Okay, sorry, my bad. But there's been a lot of 2 tight end sets and a lot of tight ends in the backfield. And I know Garrett or whoever was talking about previously in Chud's offense how they were using a lot of tight ends. Or like, well, he might have to modify that, and it doesn't look like he's going to modify it. It looks like he's going to keep doing that. So I don't know. I don't know if that's a lot of optimism, but just the play calling itself, you've seen guys like Philip Dorsett and Quan Bray get open a lot of good routes by Moncrief. I mean, there's only so much I can see because it's not all 22, and that's kind of tough. But even just from the broadcast angle, it looks like a lot of good angles, and look like Luck is going through his reads easily, and he's finding the right guy. So I'm happy about that. I mean, clearly he went 8 for 8.
Yeah, and again, I mean, it is preseason, but what I've noticed a lot is a lot more shorter routes.
Mm-hmm.
A lot more short passes. And man, did we actually do a wide receiver screen that went for more than 3 yards?
Oh yeah.
Interesting.
But yeah, that's the thing. It's mostly like pretty much all the plays have like 2 crossing routes, like a fly, and then like a post from like the tight end. Like it seems kind of simple, but it's working to the strengths of the team.
Yeah, no, that's interesting. Garrett, thanks, Garrett. Hey Jay, you want to give us one positive?
Yeah, I'm gonna leave the easy one out there, and I'll go with Dorsett and his mustache. It looks really fast. No, but I like him, man. They're using him. You know, I think he's gonna be good. Still, I don't think it was a good pick. You know, I don't want to go over that territory. Been there before, but I think he looks like he's gonna be good. He looks fast. Like Greg Doyle wasn't lying. He's fast.
Right, his speed is evident on the tape.
It is evident.
Inherent speed.
No, I just think he's there. Looks like they're going to use him. That comeback he had looked really good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right down.
Yeah. Yeah. No. I mean, he's been schemed open a few times, so I mean, it's interesting. I mean, when you have fast guys like that, it's always going to be good if they can catch the ball. A lot of fast guys can't. But I don't know.
Yeah, and I thought his hands, he made a couple pretty good catches in traffic between the last 2 weeks. I wasn't here for the last one. But So he's made a couple little bit more contested catches. That's good. It's not just wide open, laid in the bucket kind of catches.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Kyle, one positive.
Man, I'm taking the low hanging fruit, man. Andrew Luck is back. That's all I need. That's all I need.
That's what I left it for you.
So he's 8 for 8. There's the accuracy clearly there. Not gonna get any worse this season. I'm gonna go. This is gonna go all optimism. This is gonna be a really accurate, high completion rate offense. Luck's fully embraced the no gunslinging, no throwing down the field, all check down offense. We're gonna see high completion rates and 0 scoring. That's what we're gonna see all year.
But he is finally sliding, which is like the biggest thing of like that the media can finally like pat themselves on the back for, is that he needed to work on his sliding, even though it was a little bit of a problem, but it wasn't like that major of a problem. But that one play where he scrambled for like 13 yards and slid, I think media just like gave themselves like a huge pat on the back for calling that one.
So did the baseball coach that they hired to teach him to slide.
The thing is, he slides all the time. It's just like, I mean, sometimes he'd make cool plays when he wouldn't slide, but you don't complain about it when he doesn't slide and gets a first down.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, that one run near the end zone, in the regular season, he's taking that in. I mean, really,
that's no way he's sliding.
He only slid to protect himself there, but I mean, in the regular season, he's gonna go against that DB and move him out of the way.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but he did throw for 60.
Yeah, I don't want him sliding there. I'm
For
fine
real
with that.
though, he looks good. He looked comfortable. That's all you really want to see. He didn't take any hits. He was smart. And really, it's just looking comfortable at this point. Coming back from those injuries, I mean, you just kind of wonder what he was going to look like if he didn't even look rusty, really. I mean, it was a really bare bones offense, but he executed it well. And like everybody has said, nothing that happened in the red zone that went poorly was his fault.
Right.
So I can't complain about him.
No, I agree.
He looks fast. Like he juked out, or not juked out, but he kind of just ran all the way around C.J. Mosley, which I thought was pretty impressive. Kind of just made him look slow, and C.J. Mosley's pretty fast. I mean, Luck kind of looks lighter. Am I the only one who thought that? Like he looked, I don't know, maybe like 5 or 10 pounds lighter.
He lost the hair because he has a bald spot. That was the entire lead of Greg Doyle's story, but that's beside the point.
How much does a kidney weigh?
Let's. Can we make a rule? Just no, Greg Doyle's not allowed back on the podcast. just as a general rule, unless he has another article as bad as the one about Mississippi kids.
I say we like hold our. You know how like at like shows we're like, please hold all applause to the end. So like we gather up like all bad Greg Doyle stories from the season, and then we just have an entire Greg Doyle podcast episode.
Roast.
Man, that's gonna be like
Doyle roast.
That'll be like 5 different parts, each an hour long. So we're gonna have to go over every article, man. I don't know. All right, for me, the pocket looked good. I think that now, Kyle, I think you said it at some point during the week. There was like 8 guys, protecting him. So on a lot of those plays.
I just was like, just on that one screenshot that Holder put out, it was like, Luck could really get used to this pocket. It was like 8-man protection, 3 rushers. Well, yeah, you gotta get used to it, but you're gonna be throwing to 2 guys all year, so sure, we can go with that. That's fine.
But I mean, for real though, I mean, Ravens don't have much of a pass rush, but they do have 2 good players on the interior. Didn't really see much from them.
Yeah. Well, who are you thinking? Brandon Williams
and Jernigan.
Okay, I was like Carl Davis did kind of pretty well last year, but okay, yeah.
Yeah, so Brandon Williams, a nose tackle, didn't see much pressure from the middle, and Jernigan usually plays on the. He would have been blocked by Mewhort.
Mm-hmm.
So not too bad. Notice Denzel Good a lot more comfortable at the guard spot. It looked like to me. He actually did some pretty good things in the run game, even though the run game was, again, not so great.
The entire right side of the line looked better than they did last
Yes,
week.
yes. But well, see, that's where I'm going to kind of disagree with you. I think Joe Wright did not look good last week. He gave up a couple pressures. He really whiffed on some run blocks. So I mean, I'm still a big Joe Wrights guy. Don't get me wrong, but I want to make sure that gets cleaned up a little bit.
See,
Uh,
I still have my concerns about Denzel Good. I don't think he's looked as good as I don't know. I mean, not saying you guys are saying he played great, but I still have like my concerns about him. I'm still not buying him being the day one right guard starter. I don't know. I just don't think he's really. I've just seen a lot of like missed blocks, and even if he doesn't miss the blocks, he's not getting the right angle on the block to me. I don't know. I think all the other four positions, obviously the three positions starting from center, left out is secure, but I don't know. Denzel Good, I still have my concerns about.
yeah, no, I think time will tell. I mean, again, it's still early, and they haven't really had a whole lot of snaps, to be honest. I mean, they probably had 20, 25 snaps total,
It's a good point. Yeah.
or less. I don't know. I don't know how. They didn't play very much week one, and they only played kind of the first quarter. So negative. For me, I'll start when we'll go back reverse order. Negative. LaRaven Clark is bad. I mean, like, LaRaven Clark is gonna get somebody killed. Like, if he ends up having to play, like, I mean, he is just. I don't know, guys. That was yeah. Go ahead.
I would say that if he has to play, things have gone terribly wrong. But then again, the Colts always have injuries massively on their offensive line, so maybe things have just gone normally.
Oh man, please no, man. It was like he got Scott Tolzien lit up. I mean, it was. I mean, I'm surprised he stood up as fast as he did because that was just brutal.
That was like total blindside too, or like backside.
Yeah, he had no idea it was coming. He had no idea it was coming, and it was just I don't know and it was the same problem you saw the week before. It's kind of the same problem you saw in his college tape. He just doesn't know how to pass protect. He does not know how to use his base and ends up overextending his arms, and the guy can just run right by him because he's got his like butt out. He's like making some weird arc with his like back and his butt, and you have no power there. And Matt Judon just absolutely destroyed him.
His fundamentals was his biggest weakness coming out of college, and they have not gotten any better. So we hope that he will never have to come close to seeing the field this year, and he can just work every week on rebuilding that. But if he's playing this year, it's gonna end about as bad as any offensive lineman would.
And if it's going to be this bad, I'm fine because I know that this is a work in progress. But like, just tackle the people then. Don't even grab them and hold on. I'd rather you do that than get a quarterback injured. Take the 10-yard penalty.
All right, what were we talking about?
LaRaven Clark.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that was bad. It was bad, and he had some okay things in the run game. A couple times. But it's overshadowed by how bad his pass pro sets are.
I mean, yeah, he's given up a sack in each game so far.
And the last one, I mean, he gave up 2, did he not?
Did he give up 2? I know the one.
No. I think like Voljanik or Volnonich, whoever plays third string left tackle, gave up 1.
Oh, okay.
I can't remember.
Yeah, Clark still can't block.
Yeah. We'll have to see. Hopefully he's not playing this year.
Yeah.
But again, I mean, the reason they drafted him is on physical attributes and upside alone.
Yeah, I mean, we expected this.
6'6", 37-inch arms, and like what, 11-inch hands?
11, like a 12-inch, I think.
Yeah, almost 12-inch hands. Like, come on. I mean,
he's actually shown that. One of the plays I did from the last piece, it was one where he gave up a pressure, but Tolzien, like, he threw it while getting hit, and LaRaven like lost that battle like really quick, like within like a half second. But the reason he didn't give up a sack is because his arms were so long and his hands were so big that he actually he just did enough with his hands and his arm, like his natural ability to not give up the sack. So I mean, yeah, it was a bad play overall, but you still kind of saw like the good things that he does have to offer. So.
Right. Jay, you got something bad?
Did you guys watch the game?
Yeah.
Bad. I don't know. There's absolutely nobody at corner
Darius
or
White.
defense, or it's not good. I don't know.
I love how
it's a
the
rebuild year. Like the defense is going to be bad for a year. We hope that we can do something with it next year.
Desmond King, and we'll get to that when we do cornerbacks. Skip Garrett.
Corner. I'll say corner. That was real bad.
Yeah. Skip Garrett. Go on to Brian. Brian, give us a bad takeaway from this game.
All right. I don't think you're expecting this one, but I expected Pat McAfee to hit a 62-yard field goal. I'm kind of really upset he didn't.
That's fair.
And I thought, I thought it would be. It looked good from like the angle, like it was right on, but it was like a lot shorter than I expected it to be. Like that maybe would have been good from like 55 or 56. Like, come on, Pat, he should be hitting 63, 64-yard field goals, like with his leg.
I mean, I don't know.
It's a terrible thing to complain about. There's so many more things to
that we need to ask ourselves. Is Pat McAfee slowing down? Do we need to start thinking about a replacement? I'll hang up and listen.
Yeah, we need a replacement.
I expect 1,000 words at the end of the week.
Listen, he's the best punter in the league. Kickoffs are great, but I don't know. I kind of expected him to make that field goal. I really thought that would have been awesome if he hit that field goal to win it.
Yeah, but in a real game,
I was really pumped for that.
Yeah, I was too. I was like, this is gonna be good. He's gonna make it. You'd expect him to make it, but he didn't. But that just, I mean, they're never gonna let that happen in a real game situation.
I don't know. I don't mean to read too much into this, but like, if I think he has a better chance of hitting that field goal than you hitting a whatever Hail Mary from that distance.
Yeah.
That's true. Especially Stephen Morris throwing the ball. So let's move on to Alex. Alex.
Oh,
didn't Morris throw the game-winning 2-point conversion?
I'll talk about the running game again. There's nothing better. Frank Gore had his one carry, looked good. After that, Josh Ferguson still looks as bad as he did. I expected to see some good things from who's our other running back?
Jordan Todman.
No.
Thurman.
The Turbin, Robert Turbin, and his best run was from fullback on a fullback dive, but other than that, he's just looks average, and average for us, not average in an NFL sense, because that'd be better than anything we had. Troy Williams has always been an exciting player since he was at Texas A&M, good athlete, but not going to expect him to make the roster. Todman, I didn't really like what I saw from him either, so. Even the blocking wasn't. I don't think it was the run blocking itself wasn't as good, especially when we got to that second team offensive line as it was against Buffalo.
I think what we need to do is rework all of our run plays to be fullback dives, because we're two for like 16.
Yeah,
so
we're 2
we've got like 8 yards per carry on those. I think that would be a solid move, as long as it's always Todman.
As long as they promise to never do the fullback dive with Dwayne Allen again. That play is still the ugliest play they've ever pulled out of a playbook, except for the one.
Okay, yeah.
Whoa.
We don't talk about.
I know. Not the one punt, but
the Griff Whalen play, man. Man, I hope that they attempt that somewhere else. Yeah,
I really do. I want to see. I would love to see what they were trying to do. That's like one of the deep mysteries in sports history is what were the Colts at least thinking about doing on that play.
Man, 10 years from now, what if I told you?
They said,
and analyze every option.
What if I told you they sent 9 guys to the sideline and snapped the ball?
Every possibility.
Tried to have a receiver snap the ball to a safety.
Man. And the best thing ever is that the Patriots guys were just like, really? Like, they just tackled him like it was 2 milliseconds into the snap. The play is dead, and they're just like, man, what? Man, yeah, it'll be good. That'll be the best 30 for 30 they've ever done.
No,
Like,
no,
like
you know what they're gonna
really
do here?
washed up Griff Whalen is gonna be on camera. Like he's gonna have some beard living in a cabin somewhere. And he's like, I was the backup. I didn't know I wasn't supposed to snap the ball.
You know what they're gonna do? They're gonna line up like that again, and then they're just gonna like be like, nah, just kidding, like go back to the normal
Yeah,
punch.
shift to a punch.
It's gonna be like when Kanye like stepped on the stage like during
The
like
giant troll.
I can't even remember what it was. Like he like looked at the crowd and then he stepped back down. He's like, no, I'm just kidding. That's what they're gonna do again.
Oh man, good stuff. Okay, from the
Had to
rookies.
get a Kanye reference in.
Yeah. For the rookies, for me, my takeaway from the rookies is I'm sad about Joe Haig because he looked bad before he got injured. But then again, and I will defend Joe Haig on the one really bad. It was almost a sack. It might have been a sack or the pressure that he gave up. Scott Tolzien took like a 12-step drop on like a 5-step drop play. Like, I mean, when the guy is like 15 feet behind the line of scrimmage out of shotgun, like out of being from under center and ends up 15 yards back in his drop, there's some issues, and you can't really blame the tackle on that.
That used to happen in 2011 when Curtis Painter and Orlowski and them were playing quarterback. They used to drop back so far, and Costanzo used to get killed because he gave up some sacks. And I was like, man, these guys are getting sacked on like literally like 15 yards behind the line of scrimmage. Come on now, give a guy a break.
Yeah, like what are you supposed to do?
PFF would help him out with that.
Yeah, I mean, there's not. I mean, and that happened again and again. Like if Garrett was here, he'd back me up on this because we talked about it. But I mean, Tolzien's drops have just been awful. So I mean, I'm sad about Joe Haig. He's week to week, I think they said, with an ankle injury. So we'll just have to play that one by ear. I'm not sure where that'll be. Alex, what's your rookie takeaway?
So October.
Yeah, probably.
Hey, on Joe Haig, real quick. How amazing is it that he never missed a game, and he's on the Colts for 1.5 games, and he gets injured and is missing games? Like, is there any more perfect than that?
Well, I don't know. Hold your breath. Isn't like Cromartie like never missed games either? Hasn't Cromartie been like injury prone or injury proof?
Yep, he's missed 2. But with all of our corner injuries, we'll have to see. Alex, rookie takeaway from the Ravens game.
I'll go with our rookie edges again. Trevor Bates, Kurt Magid, both are looking as even better probably than they did last week. I'm really liking what Magid is doing. He's looking a little rusty compared to what he was doing in 2014 tape, but that's expected when he missed the whole season. But he is playing well in every facet of playing the linebacker. Like, he is playing the run incredibly well for what I was expecting of him, and he's getting after the passer when he's rushing. And Trevor Bates is showing he's got something that none of these other edges have, and you can tell that he's a really good athlete. And don't get your hopes up for much of an impact this year, but those are guys who are showing that they can get a role on this team for the future, and I think Magid is pretty locked into a roster spot at this point.
Yeah, I think they both are.
Mm-hmm.
I think you've got the 3, so I think that they're going to carry 6.
Yeah.
I think because you can tell that they really like Bates, and they like O'Kine by the amount of snaps they're giving him.
Yeah.
But I think what they've seen Magid. They gave Magid more snaps. I think like closer to the second quarter, maybe even in the first quarter. So and he saw a couple looks at inside linebacker, which was interesting as well.
So Magid, O'Kine, Bates. Oh,
and then
Walden
and
Mathis.
Cole. Okay.
Walden
I was forgetting about Walden.
And
Okay.
last,
Yeah,
in
6.
the Buffalo game, they were, from my perspective at least, it was Ron Thompson versus Kurt Magid for that final edge spot as an undrafted rookie. And though Ron Thompson did well in the first week, I mean, the second week it wasn't a contest. So
yeah, not close. Brian, rookie takeaway.
I like Tavon Smith. I thought he did really well, especially that 4th and 1 touchdown catch. which will probably be Moncrief during the season, because that's our go-to guy. But I really like that. Right now, I just think he has the edge over Chester Rogers and definitely Mikhail McKay for that fifth wide receiver spot. Maybe this isn't so much about how Smith looked good, but Rogers looked bad. He had that one catch where he went up for it, but besides that, he had another really bad drop. And then there was another play where they threw him like a bubble screen, like an out route in the red zone. I think it might have been the first drive with luck, and like he caught it and he just like couldn't stop his momentum, and he like went out of bounds for like a 1-yard loss. And it's like, well, you might as well have just dropped it then if you're going to do that. So I think Chester Rogers has kind of been struggling, and Tavon Smith, I mean, just that touchdown catch, that was huge to be able to make that on 4th and 1 at your goal line. So I think he looked really good, and I think he's on his way to becoming the 5th wide receiver on this team.
Did a nice job on that route too, just using his body. I mean, that's textbook for the slant.
It wasn't even like that contested of a catch. It was actually just like an easy catch because he made the separation.
Yeah, and he boxed out that guy. Like, I mean, it was quick. Yeah, I think it was good. I think what you've seen from both. I think what you've seen from Chester and Tavon has been that they've tried to scheme plays for them like both weeks, and I think what you've seen, at least in my opinion, is Tavon Smith playing a little bit better.
Yeah, and Tavon Smith, from a logistics point of view, if you're gonna roster one of these, you're gonna try to put the other one on your practice squad, and I think Tavon Smith has a much greater chance of either going to the CFL or getting claimed by another team before making it to your practice squad. Chester Rogers, on the other hand, you could probably stash him away there and revisit him next year.
Completely agree.
Tavon Smith is just more consistent, and I don't know that he has a play that is as pretty as that catch that Rogers went up and got. I don't think he does, but he's been more consistent. And when you're looking at those guys, just for your 4th and 5th receiver, you need somebody who's going to be able to step in and play. And to me, that just seems more like Tavon Smith at this point to be able to step in and take a role in the, know the playbook and be on the same page as Luck. Just seems more likely to be able to do that than Rogers, who seems a little bit more like a developmental guy. Maybe a higher ceiling. I don't really know, but I just don't think he's going to be able to step in and play right away like Smith.
Yeah, Kyle, that was my point. I was going to say that Chester Rogers' best play has been better than Tavon Smith's best play, but he's also had the bad drops and the lack of awareness near the sideline, which is probably going to cost them.
And from a team building point of view, Tavon Smith, at least I think in my opinion, complements these our top 3 receivers much better than sorry, blanking on the name. Chester Rogers, then because he's kind of redundant with the other guys because he's 6'1", but he doesn't really play like he's 6'1" from what I've noticed.
He's 6'1"?
Yeah.
Yeah.
According to the website, he looked 5'10", so.
Yeah, interesting. That's real interesting. I could have swore he was like 5'10", 5'11" just by looking at him. Jay, rookie takeaway if you got one.
TJ Green is cool. I mean, I don't know how good he's going to be, and there was one coverage that looked like it was probably his fault, but I'm just really happy. Like that run fill was really cool when he came downhill and he got that guy real fast on the outside. That was just a cool play, and
It's a good tackle.
If he's good, that's the kind of play that they show on like a Pro Bowl highlight reel of the safety. Like, look how cool this safety is. So I was at least happy that he looks cool.
It was a non-LaRon Landry type tackle too.
Yeah, I'm about aesthetics this year. Like I just want stuff to look good, and if he looks cool doing it, I'm happy. He looked really cool, and that 32 looks good. 32 looks good. I like it.
They start like smoking cigarettes during the game.
We need that. I mean, the NFL needs that again, man. They need a Joe Cool, and it can be TJ Green.
Smoking coverages, that's fine, but just look cool tackling.
Okay, really though, the Colts are so lame that if they're gonna be bad, they may as well look cool. Like one or the other.
Indiana, what do you expect?
Man, we've got the most dorky nerd quarterback. Like it's embarrassing sometimes. Like that interview during the Ravens game. Like I don't know if it was. I don't think it's on Game Pass because it was on the Indianapolis broadcast. But my God, that was just something else. It's like, you gotta get out of it. I mean, it's just like, man, get this guy. Like,
I think he should go like just a complete total makeover and just like re-edit everything about him. Like he didn't go to Stanford. He like went to Cal, and instead of engineering, his major was like sport management or something.
no, dude,
like
he went to UAB. He studied communications or sports medicine or something like that. But I think
like sport management is like kind
right.
of like yeah.
No, I agree. Kyle, rookie takeaway.
We've talked about all the rookies that I really care to talk about, but I will say my bad thing from the game that I got unceremoniously skipped on.
Oh.
The ESPN game recap writer wrote this sentence. After Indy took an 18-17 lead on Stephen Morse's 7-yard touchdown pass to Trey Williams with 3:54 left, the Colts played it by the book and tried a 2-point conversion. Okay, solid. Next sentence. It was a huge mistake. Baltimore's first stop was wiped out because Anthony Levine Sr. was called offside, with a second chance Levine picked off Morse's pass and returned it for 2 points to give the Ravens a 19-18 lead without a second ticking off the clock. That's just way too dramatic for the preseason, man. Cut it back. Just nobody cares who even won, first of all. And it wasn't a mistake to go for it, too. Jeez, old Pete.
Yeah, the preseason takes, man. It's just
Wait,
like
who was that? Mike Wells?
It was just like the generic, recap writer. I just like
Mike
AP
Wells.
or whatever.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say because Wells is the ESPN guy. Huh.
yeah. All right. Okay, so we were gonna do the Edge watch list. I'm gonna postpone this week because we've been going for about an hour. So we will get on to that. And again, because we'll talk about the Eagles, and then we can probably do a whole watch list show to finish everything out because we're not going to talk about the Bengals game unless someone gets murdered.
Oh,
like on the
I think
field.
for the Bengals game, we should just do a regular season prop bet.
I'm down. We'll
show.
We'll do more hot takes. We'll do some more take it or leave it because that was fun. And we'll do some prop bets. Like last year, my prop bet would have been Andrew Luck is thrown for 5,500 yards and 70 TDs. And I would have lost.
We all would have taken it.
We all would have lost. And everyone in the podcast would have been like, oh, hell yeah, let's do that. That's a good one. And then...
Yeah. I mean, where could you go wrong with Deron Carter as your fifth wide receiver? He would have been like the second wide receiver on most teams.
Yeah, easily.
Andre Johnson, future Hall of Famer.
Man, interesting stuff. All right, guys. So we play the Eagles on Saturday. It'll be a whole half, 7 or 8 o'clock. I don't know, somewhere around there. We will get to see the starters for a whole half, maybe a little more, because
really quickly. Brian was talking about the offensive personnel. This is the game where we see if they're actually committed to this heavy set, 21-22. type stuff, or they're actually going to do 11 personnel like we all were expecting. So in week 3 of the preseason, which is the dress rehearsal, let's see what they're actually going to do during the regular season.
I still think they're going to run 11, but we're talking like
No, there was 60, a clear amount of
we were thinking like 60, 70%.
Yeah.
I think we overshot that like a lot. Like it's looking less than 50% at this point now.
We'll see. Again, preseason where they just randomly call plays. They're not looking for matchups. They're just bringing out guys to
I'm
look
more
at
interested in are they going to be a super high variance, from a personnel standpoint like they were with Pep, or can we actually see some consistency in terms of your base personnel? Just pick a base personnel and be good at it. We don't have the players or the coaches to outsmart every defense by switching out personnel every other play. So let's just get something and get good at it is what I would, at least as a fan, that's what I'd want to see.
No, I agree. And hopefully something semblance of an offense that works for our team, not routes that develop 30 yards downfield, and you got to pass protect for 11 seconds, stuff like that. So
15 step drops.
yeah, 15 step drops, stuff like that. So it'll be interesting. This is the dress rehearsal game. That's a good point. They game plan. They do all that kind of stuff. They probably have scripted plays for the beginning of the game, and et cetera, et cetera. It'll be interesting because Hilton hasn't practiced this week. He's still having a hamstring injury type thing, and honestly, it's preseason. If he's got a cold, don't play him. If he's got mosquito bite on his foot, don't play him. There's no need. So
I'm so excited for Ty and Dante though. Moncrief was Moncrief looked like a monster on Sunday. We didn't really talk about it, but he did.
He did, and I'm excited to see him full bore once we get into this regular season.
Mm-hmm.
So for that, we thank you all for listening. I'm going to ask you again because we need it. Go to iTunes, find the 5-star button, hit those 5 stars, and say something along the lines, "This is the most handsome podcast on iTunes, and I love it to death." And we appreciate you guys. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.